For me, it's how physically he resembled Kit, which was a little weird at times, but in the best possible way. There's certain angles of Ben where I looked at him and it was like I saw Kit in him, and then also in his performance and in his mannerisms and his approach to certain lines and just an overall essence. Like he was very, and is in many ways very Kit-like.
Yeah, it's funny. I never met Kit in person.
It's because he wasn't a fan.
Because he wasn't a fan.
I kept you guys apart as far as possible.
Well, whatever the cruel reason, I never met Kit as in real life. But picture-wise, and your very vivid descriptions in the book about what he's like, everybody could see the overlap in, like, I think that Ben and Kit have more in common on the superficial level that we were talking about in some ways. And I guess related to that, for me, there was so much kindness and charisma in what he did. It felt easy to join forces with him.
Jim and I have known each other for a while. Professionally, I've been interviewing him on red carpets, and sometimes he'd come into the studio and I'd do interviews with him. And instantly we had a rapport. And I think that's because we have a shared sensibility in terms of not taking anything too seriously. And I think that's what I connected with Jim about it was just fun to be around him. There was no pretense. He was playful, but he was also snarky. And it was just immediately there was an ease between the two of us. The first time I saw Jim playing me, it was surreal. It was like, I can't believe this is happening. I'm sitting here looking into a monitor, watching Jim Parsons, play the story of my life. It was honestly, I felt just gratitude. I felt like I'm so grateful to have gotten to this point and to be able to share this story with so many more people, and to have someone like Jim starring in it. It just was like it was an embarrassment of riches.
That's very sweet to say. I'm realizing I've never allowed myself to fully imagine what it would be like to be doing what he did. I think that's one of those, there's a few little things like this that I think I made sure to stop myself from doing for fear that it would somehow affect or inhibit what I was doing. You know what I mean? Like trying to put myself in Michael's shoes. I was trying to put myself in Michael's shoes for a major chunk of his life he had written down. I don't think I could have, and I'm still realizing I haven't yet really thought about what it's like to put myself in his shoes for going through this experience. And as I'm thinking about it, I understand why. It's enormous. It's enormous watching your life reflected back at you.
Movie Michael there's a maybe more of an outward sort of sweetness and vulnerability to him. I think I'm more of like, I think in a protective shell a lot. So I don't let people see, vulnerability, even like sweetness, anger, any kind of, like I'm very controlled with my emotions. Movie Michael, I think, doesn't have maybe as many hang-ups in that department.
Yeah.
Is that fair?
I think that's very fair. I think that's a combination of me being me as an actor, but also the movie we put together, I guess, called for that.
And this was, like, in my mind, I never was like, whoever plays me, it has to be an imitation. Like, especially when we got Jim, I think one of the exciting things was I couldn't wait to see what he brought to this role. that surprised me and that was interesting. And I knew that he would create his own Michael, and he did. It was emotional at times, but not because I felt like I was being taken back to painful parts of my life and now it's being relived in front of me. It was because the work being done was just so good. I was just so in the moment and enjoying these performances, and just as a viewer, someone who was just watching this experience unfold before me, I was moved by it. And sometimes, there was difficult scenes being shot, and I was moved by those, but it wasn't never like, oh, this is really tough going back here. Right. It wasn't like we were shooting a documentary, but it was watching like these incredible artists play out these scenes, and some of them were emotionally wrenching to watch.